Is that asking too much? And they have the offense to do it.
They have the offense to do it. They have the firepower at the top of the lineup to do it, to be on that board first.
And Nomar, it'd be great if they could hand that man, Shohei Ohtani, a lead because he's starting on the mound tonight. And maybe he'll just go deep in the bottom of the first to give himself the lead.
I'm saying he can do it himself. I mean, what do you mean nice of them? Let's go. Show us something, Shohei.
He has no extra base hits so far this season. Jerry, don't you feel like he's due?
He's way overdue. Hey, why not strike out the side in the first, go deep? Bottom of the first.
All right, Shohei about to take the mound for the first start of 2026. First pitch from the Ravinas coming up next.
Drop still coming down as Shohei Ohtani takes the field. The Dodgers take the field behind him. Thinking back to last October, Game 4 of the championship series, they're going to give away a bobblehead to commemorate this on the next homestand. One of the greatest games ever. 3 for 3 with 3 home runs. Oh, yeah. And he pitched 6 scoreless innings, 10 strikeouts, an all-time performance for Shohei Ohtani, who came back from Tommy John surgery last year, and as you said during the pregame oral, essentially rehabbed in the majors to the tune of a 2.87 ERA that now takes him into 100 starts into his major league career. That's strikeout per 9, the second highest in major league history through 100 starts, only his teammate Tyler Glasnow with a higher clip.
Yeah, you don't want to get to 2 strikes against Shohei. Shohei has so many weapons to put you away. We saw last year, coming off the elbow surgery and the rehab, he started to throw a few less split fingers because that'll tighten your forearm, put a little pressure on your elbow. But the pitch that he has started to throw more of, the curveball and the sweeper, which have been devastating to hitters. So you're going to look at 3 types of fastballs with the cutter, the fastball, and the sinker, and then 3 types of breaking balls with the curveball, the sweeper, and the slider. And he's got the weapon, of course, of the split finger. It'll be fun to watch him tonight to see how he pounds the strike zone, and if he does use some of those off-speed pitches early, because this Cleveland team is very aggressive.
Let's take a look at that Cleveland team that beat the Dodgers last night by a score of 4-2. Stephen Kwan heads up there to lead things off, and then Chase DeLauder, the American League Player of the Week in his first week in the big leagues. Ramirez bats third. Manzardo does the DH-ing with Rhys Hoskins in there at first base. Bo Naylor catches. Rocchio's at second. His double play partner Gabriel Arias is the 8-hitter. Angel Martinez is in left field hitting 9. Ohtani trying to pitch the Dodgers to their 4th win out of their first 5 games this year. Off we go as Ohtani fires, and a fastball misses away on Kwan. Kwan 3 for 5 yesterday. Already a 3rd multi-hit game for him. Cleveland now 3-2. They split the first 4 games up in Seattle. That's a little high, and it's 2-0 from Ohtani. 2 starts during spring training for Ohtani, absolutely dominated. Dave Roberts said the feel for his breaking stuff way ahead of where it was last year, where a lot of last year was feeling his way back. Here's a drive off of the bat of Kwan to deep right center field. Pages and Tucker coming together. Pages says that he has it and does. And it's just a loud, long first out of the night for Ohtani.
Good communication out there for the first ball they might have had while they're out there as teammates and communicating. Dodger Stadium, packed house, some noise. Tucker backs off just in time to the captain, the center fielder, Andy Pages.
I'm the captain now. He said, you know what happens when you don't slow up when I'm coming? Ask Kike.
Exactly.
Yeah, so Doc talking about how far along the breaking stuff is even compared to where it was last year. But again, last year, 1 inning at a time, 1 inning, then 2 innings. And really, he was feeling his way back the whole time. Now it's been about refining what he already has. First one to Chase DeLauder misses his spot badly.
When you're coming back from surgery, shoulder or elbow, the caliber of your bullets, your arm strength changes. Like every time you take the mound. 1 inning, it's feeling good. You're breaking through some nice small scar tissue. Another inning, it's all loosened up right away. You take the mound and it feels great. So last year, you can just kind of throw it away. I think this is the first time we're going to see him in a Dodger uniform where he's fully healthy offensively and fully healthy on the mound.
It's the first time that he's been from the start a two-way player since 2023. 3-year stretch where he had full-time two-way duties, 2021 through 2023. Only Aaron Judge had a better OPS as a hitter. Only 2 starting pitchers had an ERA better than Shohei Ohtani's 2.84.
Shohei, always the gentleman, waiting for the pain to kind of wear off, and we're actually going to have a visit from the trainer from Cleveland.
It's the second game in a row. DeLauder's fouled a ball off himself. I don't remember if it was the same exact spot last night. But was in some pain.
Back foot.
Is it front foot last night?
Yeah, I think it was front foot, just barely off the shin guard. And you see Shohei. He feels everybody's pain.
Well, he's been there. He can relate better than any pitcher can these days. Talking with Will Smith now. He said, I want a new ball. And while they take a look at DeLauder, he does get a new one from the home plate umpire, Adrian Johnson. If Ohtani and the Dodgers get 7 strikeouts in this game, you're getting a free Jumbo Jack tomorrow with the purchase of a large drink at LA area Jack in the Box restaurants.
I'll take the over.
Well, in his last tune-up for the regular season, struck out 11 Angels in the Freeway Series. Didn't do a ton of actual game pitching during spring training, largely because of the World Baseball Classic. Dodgers trusted him to get himself ready, do what he needed to get ready for these games. And all signs are pretty darn good that he's ready to rock when you watch what he did against the Angels the other day. All right, so that foot still throbbing, you figure. DeLauder's back in there for this 1-2 and bounces one to first base. Freddie Freeman, not an easy pick. Feeds Ohtani 2 up and 2 down. And DeLauder limping his way. Had a hard time even getting out of the batter's box there.
He might have broke a bone or something in his foot. That is not a good sign. That's not hamstring or calf or quad. That is the same foot that he fouled the ball off of.
And just to give you a little context, if you didn't watch last night's game, Chase DeLauder, their top prospect, 3 years in the pros, has played a total of 138 games because of one freak injury after another. And now seeing this after he breaks in the way that he does with 4 home runs in his first 3 games, that's heartbreaking for Guardians fans to watch. Jose Ramirez takes a strike from Ohtani. Ramirez 1 for 5 in yesterday's game, and the Guardians 3-2, even though their top player is just 3 out of 21 so far. Got an 0-1 from Ohtani. Ramirez swings and misses. Slider sharp. Seen the curve and now the slider.
Pitch 9 is the slider. He's thrown the other curveball and really living with the heater.
See what he goes with on 0-2. Back to a breaking pitch. It's fouled off. That was a sweeper, so a third different version of a breaking ball.
It's interesting how the computer can differentiate between the sweeper and the curveball. It must be the angle of the spin.
You get both the spin rate on it and the angle that it breaks. Helps to find those pitches. Turns it up with a fastball, grounded foul. But Ohtani is always tinkering with grips. He very much looks at this pitching business seriously, where the hitting is kind of a fun thing for him to do. The pitching is the identity. Foul. The craft of it, something that he very much appreciates.
Well, you're in control of it. As a hitter, you have to react to the ball, the pitcher, and what he's doing to you, and you can only hit it so well, and sometimes it's at somebody, you don't get rewarded. But as a pitcher, they can bloop it in on you, but you're in a lot more control, and you're starting the action.
Tries another 0-2 to Ramirez. Yeah, it snapped a string of 8 consecutive strikes that he had thrown. He's given up a home run before to Jose Ramirez. A lot of guys have. The 1-2 pitch somehow gets to that fastball and fouls it off. Ohtani saying, how'd you hit that?
That, and it didn't hurt your hands, and he's getting a new bat. Almost. Wow. Took the top hand off, and then Will Smith got clobbered by the backswing. Yeah, I think he's worried about Will. Or he's appealing the foul ball. He's tapping his hat.
We could make several GIFs or GIFs or however you say it out of this first inning of his facial expressions alone.
Yeah.
High drive, center field. Pages sprinting back on the track, changes directions and makes a basket catch. Get back to the wall and then come forward. That's how they teach you to do it. Might not be exactly what it should look like, but the outcome's what you want. It's a 1-2-3 first for Shohei. Coming in and like Superman, like stepping into the phone booth. Changes gear, becomes the hitter, and comes up to lead things off in front of this group right here. As the Dodgers try to tie this series up at a game apiece. They face off with Tanner Bybee of the Cleveland Guardians, who is their opening day starter and gave up 3 runs on 3 home runs over 5 innings up in Seattle. Pours in a strike on Ohtani. It was a concern because he came out to pitch the 6th inning of that game and then said something's not right here. His shoulder was barking, so they were wondering if he was going to be ready to start this game, but everything came out clear with the scans. Had a good bullpen over the weekend. He's ahead of Ohtani 0-2.
Coming out of spring, exerting yourself at the next level in an opening day start, maybe a little extra ballistic stretch. Here's their arsenal. He's going to try and get the Dodgers out with the sweeper and the changeup mainly. They have kind of hit around his fastballs. About 65% of the stuff is hard. Then he's going to throw about 15-20% with the breaking ball, and then the changeup will get mixed in at the end.
Here he comes with an 0-2 to Ohtani. Pushed to the left side for Ramirez, and they were shifted around to make that a routine play for him. 1 gone in this first inning. Chase
to subscribe today.
Top of the 2nd inning, Kyle Manzardo with a healthy cut and a miss at Ohtani's first pitch. 97 with the fastball from Shohei. Worked a 1-2-3 first inning and showed the full arsenal. Nasty splitter right there.
Looks like a low fastball, ends up in the dirt.
Pages in center. He had to be on his horse in that first inning for a couple plays. Doesn't have to move much right there. And Ohtani's retired the first 4.
3 strikes to that batter. 18 pitches now, 14 of them in the strike zone.
First baseman number 8. Rhys Hoskins.
And now go to work against Rhys Hoskins, who gets an opportunity against a righty here tonight. He came off of the bench yesterday and had that key bases loaded walk against Justin Robleski. He's reached base in 6 of his first 10 times up with Cleveland. After signing a minor league contract after spring training had begun. He's a guy with a legit major league track record that just couldn't get a big league deal. So trying to prove it and enter free agency again this offseason. Quickly in an 0-2 hole though. Ohtani's proven that he's the best player in the world, best player ever. What he does, but as we've said, his identity, you ask him, is as a pitcher, and Dave Roberts is saying today he wants a chance to prove he's the best pitcher in the world too. His 1-2 to Hoskins is swung on and missed. Tight sweeper to get his first K.
Ridiculous command, varying the pitches, the sequence, and then hitting spots. That will bring you the Ks.
Here's one of the best in baseball with 2 strikes last year. Fastball in for a strike on Naylor. You saw the average below 100. Ends in a strikeout more than 60% of the time when Ohtani gets 2 strikes on you. Loops in a curve, so he goes from high 90s at the fastball to his one really change of pace pitch, that curve.
He really gets to the front of the baseball to create that 12-6 break.
0-2 on all 3 hitters in this inning. And then buzzes inside with the heat up to 98.
Yeah, last year the velocity ticked up as the year went on. Right there around 98, maybe a little over 98 is the average fastball.
That was a career high for him. Saying something coming back from his 2nd Tommy John surgery. Here's 1-2 to Naylor. Got a chase on a splitter to finish off a 1-2-3 second. He's retired the first 6 that he's faced this year. As always, on Jackie Robinson Day, April 15th, across Major League Baseball, where everybody wears his number 42. 6 up and 6 down for Shohei Ohtani and Brian Rocchio to start the third for Cleveland. Rocchio had 2 hits on opening day, hasn't had one in the 4 games since. Ohtani's 1-1. Grounded back to him, knocks it down, and tosses over to first base for the first out.
Shaking off his left hand, the glove hand. That's a good sign. We don't want anything on the other hand, the pitching hand. It looked like it jammed back into the thumb a little bit of the glove because he didn't get it square in the pocket. That's what he's kind of looking at.
Shortstop, number 13, Gabriel Arias.
I tell you, the facial expressions tonight are full of emotion. Arias with 1 out. Sweeps it in for a strike. So he's got 4 MVPs. He's got 4 Silver Sluggers. He's got 2 championship rings. The one empty spot on the shelf full of trophies would be a Cy Young. And a lot of questions about that this spring as he ramped up, and the excitement around the season he could have ramped up as well. And they asked him about it. And he said, look, if I'm in the Cy Young conversation at the end of the year, that means that I've stayed healthy and I've made every start. That's my first goal. The Cy Young conversation, a chance to win it, that's going to ensue from being in there every time they ask me to be. Now, the blueprint to make that happen for him is different than any other pitcher. And blueprint's probably not even a right word because nobody really knows exactly what it's going to look like. To begin, he's going to need 6 full days off between starts, but very much start to start from there. It's not going to be 30 to 35 starts at the end of the year. Could it be 25? Absolutely. But touch and go, constant communication to figure out what that's going to be. And if it all goes as planned, yeah, should be around at the end in the conversation. It's a walk and the first base runner for Cleveland. Get a word from Archer.
Left fielder, number 1.
Fuel your game day with Archer Jerky and Meat Sticks. Find them at grocery and club stores near you.
We were talking about this on opening day, or our first broadcast together Friday night. He is never going to come right out and state his exact goals. A lot of guys won't do that, but you know that they have them. They have specific goals. Angel Martinez grounds it foul, and you know his tend to be sky high. What can I do that nobody's ever done? Accomplish that goal, reset it a little bit higher. It would fall in line with the way that he's wired and the way that he's always operated to have that be the thing this year, winning a Cy Young.
Well, if he did 25 starts, and let's say he averaged 6 innings, it's 150 innings.
Broken bat flare. Mookie Betts levitates and makes the catch. Back to first, not in time. That was a fun play. 2 out.
Somewhere between a humpback liner and a pop-up, and Mookie times it perfectly. The bat shatters, Mookie leaps, understands time and space and where the ball needs to go. A really good baseball clock. See him glance there at the end of his jump to see that he's got a chance. If not, he would have ate it, but he thought he had a chance. Good, nice, accurate throw.
Back to the top in Quan, a curve misses. So you were saying if he's 6 innings to start.
6 innings start, 25 starts is 150 innings if my math's right, and that's going to be less than the 162 that makes you qualify. So when he has defense behind him like that, Shohei's ERA will be a lot lower, but he's still going to have to possibly be a starter to win a Cy Young and not qualify for the ERA title.
And you know the 200 innings used to be, well, you got to get to 200 innings to even be in the conversation. Nobody gets to 200 innings anymore. Last year there were only 3 guys that got to 200 innings. 10 years ago there were 28. 20 years ago there were 50. So to even have your name whispered in the conversation, it required that. Times have changed.
So you take 6 innings and you do 32 starts. You know, you're at 192 innings, and that's why you're talking about those 200 inning guys, because you were starting between 31 and 35 games the farther you turn back the clock. And it's an accomplishment to average 6 1/3, 6 2/3. You're getting deep because everybody's going to have that 2-inning start, that 3-inning start. There might be 3 or 4 of those where you really have a rough one every month. So you got to go some complete games at 9. You got to have a lot of 8s in there to average 6 2/3.
Kwan takes a little bit high. That's ball 4. Second walk of this inning. First and second with 2 out.
Right fielder number 2.
I think the Cleveland lineup has realized what good stuff he has right now, and they're being a little bit more patient. They have no idea what's coming out of his hands, so they're reading the ball a lot more, and Shohei's been a little wider in his spray pattern, and that's why we're seeing these walks.
First chance for the Guardians, and it's C.J. Kafis instead of Chase DeLauder. DeLauder leaving the game after fouling a ball off his foot, and so the game finds Kafis here. Just to put a bow on that conversation about innings and what puts him in the conversation, the fewest innings for a starter in the modern era to win a Cy Young. Corbin Burns 167 in 2021. As far as tonight goes, Dave Roberts saying 6 or 7 innings. Much different equation than last year when you knew exactly what it was going to be. That's a challenge, and that should be overturned. It's one of those before ABS, you wouldn't get the call, and the excuse would be, well, the catcher had to reach for it, but the computers don't care about reaching. ABS powered by T-Mobile, and a strike.
We knew it had a lot of the plate.
Dodgers still have 2 challenges.
It was the height there, and it was a lot of height. It was a whole ball in the strike zone.
And so it's 1-2 on Kafis. Shohei deals. Curve. Did he go? He did. And the inning is over. Ohtani pitches around the free passes. No score. Middle 3. First swing, 107-mile-per-hour line drive the other way. And RVS is like, see, I told you. He's like, you're right. It did feel good. Grounds this one up the middle. Arias has it. And so he said, I could not wait to get in the box to try what felt like this thing that had unlocked me. Look at the difference from spring training. His hands behind him, the bat flat. And then Robert Van Scoyoc saying, be like Matt Olson. Think putting your hands way out in front of you, the bat up, your hands are free. And he said it's a significant change. It has him feeling totally different.
Ohtani's got his there. He's up now. And so does Will Smith do that.
But to make that kind of change last minute
That's
for a
huge.
guy who is, would have every reason to not feel good coming into the season after the way last year went, and still trying to prove he belongs and trying to hold on to his spot. And Tommy Edman's going to get healthy eventually. Kim, is going to do his thing in AAA. To have the confidence and the courage to make that change, it's impressive. One and one on Ohtani. Soft ground ball to third his first time. Has a couple home runs against Bybee in his career, including one last year. On this 1-1 pitch, takes it outside, ball 2. Dodgers have faced Bybee twice, beat him both times. His ERA is above 5 against LA. Team that he grew up rooting for. Little inside, ball 3 on Ohtani.
Bybee, a lot of fastballs first time through the order. Now going to some breaking stuff.
He walks Ohtani. Second free pass issued.
Well, Bobby's first 35 pitches, he threw 33 of something firm between the fastball, the sinker, and the cutter. But now he
Careful with what he ate last week. Got to make that opening day start for the first time.
Shohei is getting the full workout. Pitching, hitting, walking, diving back to first. Fouling balls off and yelling. Every facial expression in the book.
Just got a piece. "59 stolen bases his first year. 20 last year. Where are you setting the over-under this year?"
17.
Yeah. Feels fair. I'll take the over.
Yeah, I would too. But
You should have set it a little higher than if you're the guys.
No, I'm just setting the line.
Tucker waves over it. Strike 3. Second one for Bibby. Second one of the inning.
But if he starts 20.
Betts takes strike 3. Dodgers have had a one-out base runner in every inning so far, but the next 2 have been retired in each case. It's 3 Ks over those 3 innings. Got Hoskins. You got Naylor. And he got Kafis. He needs 4 more. And you get a jumbo jack. A little bit slow getting out there. Back in the World Series last year, John Schneider and the Blue Jays understandably were upset with how much time he was taking in Game 7 getting back out there to pitch. You don't blame him for pushing the limits and taking all the time they'll give him. And you would understand if the umpire said, "Hey, let's go."
We've made rules with sliding, the Utley rule at second base, the Posey rule at home plate. That is for player safety. I think Shohei could get his own rule for player safety in rushing him out there and not allowing him to get loose for either as an at-bat or pitching. I think there sometimes needs to be amendments to certain rules for certain special situations and special players.
Relatedly, baseball's done a good job the last few years, hasn't it?
Very
Of kind of
good.
reading the room and adjusting, making the game more watchable.
Oh, yeah.
Jose Ramirez starts the 4th. I think the NFL was kind of the poster child for adjusting and not being rigid. If there's a rule that needs to be made to make it a better game, then make it.
Well, we originally saw baseball kind of crack the door open with the intentional walk.
I think that might be the second broken bat of Ramirez tonight against Ohtani. One away.
West Coast trip for Cleveland, and they are probably going through some bats, this being the second series. Seattle and now here, so yeah, he's probably got a few left.
And if not, you can have anything you want in like 7 minutes these days by hitting a button on Amazon. It's terrible.
It's terrible.
Seriously, the boxes that stack up on my front porch, I'm like, what are we getting?
Should have bought stock in a cardboard company.
And Zardo flied out to center his first time. Should have bought stock in Amazon when it was a book company.
Oh, yeah. They're getting into the car business now.
They're in every business.
It's true.
Double curveballs, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Oh, we're talking about, you know, speeding up the game and how baseball's had a great pulse on what they've done and what they've changed. I always knew I loved baseball, but with the pitch clock, boy, I'll tell you what, I fell back in love at a very much higher level.
3 straight curves.
And I think fans really appreciate it.
I said the other night, can you imagine taking it away now? Like, it would just.
Oh, no. Going back to 3.5-hour games.
And Zardo's up there thinking, wait a minute, I thought this guy's like 7 pitches. Doesn't only have a curveball, does he? Guardians still looking for that first hit against Ohtani, who's home with a 2-2. Another curve. He's thinking there's no way that he throws a fifth, but he did. 2 out. Remember talking to Kershaw last year during one at bat, and something along the lines of, I don't like throwing 3 in a row, or maybe it's 4 in a row, because I'm due, even if it's 3 good ones, I'm due to have it not be a good one.
Due to hang one.
Yep.
I think my max was 7 in a row.
Wow.
And my elbow said wow too.
Yeah, I bet. First one to Hoskins.
That's right there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's right there.
The catcher challenging the pitch.
Yeah. Sharp late break after it crossed the plate.
Got it. ABS powered by T-Mobile says strike one.
The Dodgers still have 2 challenges.
Shohei had thrown 9 curveballs the first 4 and a third, and then 5 in a row to Manzardo. Hooked to left field. Hernandez won't get there, and Rhys Hoskins has the first hit of the game for the Guardians. It's a 2-out double here in the 4th.
We were creeping towards something special, but this spoils it. Just enough swing left. Just enough height in the pitch that he was able to reach it, and just enough fair territory to keep it there.
So Hoskins proven to be, over the first week or so here, a steal in the small minor league contract they gave him. Strike one on Bo Naylor on a first pitch splitter. Naylor struck out his first time, 1 for 12 so far this year. Started his 3rd year as the full-time starting catcher. Hit just a $195 last year, did Naylor, but he was huge in September as the Guardians had that crazy run to win the division. Cleveland won 20 of their last 25 games. Naylor was right in the middle of that. Hoskins at second, 2 out. The 1-1 pitch. In the dirt for ball 2.
Not all pitches are created equal. 59 in a 0-0 game with a man on second and 2 outs. These are stressful.
Off the end of the bat, short center field, Betts out. Hernandez on with the call and the catch. 4 scoreless innings for Shohei Ohtani. Back elbow up. Has him feeling good again. Base hit to center field.
Well, he got rewarded for getting the bat on plane and keeping it there as long as possible. This is off the end of the bat, but the timing is slightly off, but the path is very accurate.
Four innings, 4 times a 1-out base runner. Muncy trying to become the first guy to follow that 1-out base runner by doing something. Dodgers 0 for 6 since getting the guy on. On an 0-1 from Bybee. Muncy takes upstairs. Still looking for his first RBI of the season, looking for his first extra base hit. Same deal with Ohtani. Same deal with Teoscar Hernandez. Way out in front, changeup down to 82. The 1-2 offering. Tries to backdoor that curve. Bo Naylor is going to challenge. First, he has down to third. And Caesar to swing. Then he challenges.
This will be interesting. Will Smith's challenge was a strike to ball. This is a ball, doesn't make it back to strike.
Cleveland has 1 challenge remaining.
Will's challenge was a breaking ball that starts on the plate, and he felt like it grazed the strike zone, and it did. Max Muncy read this one right. Their challenge was wrong.
ABS powered by T-Mobile. So it's 2-2 on Muncy. Smith inches off of first. Tanner Bybee comes home. Muncy cracks one in the air, shallow left field. Martinez coming on and getting there. Back to first goes Smith, 2 out. Hernandez. You're talking about the shift from spring training to real games as it relates to Teoscar Hernandez. The first time he was up, you mentioned the ball breaking differently when you get to LA. The other thing is guys are obviously game planning against you, not just working on whatever it is they want to work on that day. It doesn't matter, just using a hypothetical hitter, if you can't hit a curveball. If the guy's not working on a curveball that day, you're not going to see any curveballs.
That's true.
Right? You might be a great fastball hitter, and if it happens to be that the pitcher in spring training wants to work on locating his fastball, you're going to see a bunch of them. You got a fastball right there and hit it up the middle into center field for a 2-out hit. That, by the way, is a bad sign right there. If that truly was a 4-seam fastball from Tanner Bybee, it was at 89.
It looks like a little cutter for me,
Okay.
or a hanging slider. But this is the first time the Dodgers have gotten a hit once there was a man on base. This is the first time they've moved somebody into scoring position.
See if Pages can take advantage. Two on, 2 out. Pages takes the ball. And back up to 94 there with a sinker. Computer might have spit out the wrong pitch type on the previous one. Pages, who grounded to short his first time, watches a sinker miss outside, and he's ahead 2-0 with Alex Freeland waiting on deck. Back-to-back champs have not struck first yet this season. Another night where a starting pitcher has held him under his thumb. 2-0. Ball 3.
Cleveland last night benefited from a bases loaded walk, and the Dodgers load the bases with a walk.
We have a green light if he wants it here. Takes it. And just barely got a piece of a pitch that was right over the heart.
A little cutter that he hits off the end of the bat, so the break and the change in velocity gets him out in front. If that's a 4-seamer or a 2-seamer coming in, the timing would have been perfect.
So now 3-1 pitch. Andy Pages takes strike 2.
33 out of the first 35 pitches were something firm. Since then, Bybee has been mixing in everything.
Runners to get a head start. First and second. 2 out. 3-2. Pages shoots a base hit to right field. Will Smith is headed home, and the Dodgers draw first blood for the first time. Andy Pages, a 2-out base hit. 1-0 Dodgers.
That was a very mature at bat. He was out in front of a cutter earlier in the count, off the end of the bat. Now with 2 strikes, stays on a breaking ball and drives it towards right field. Lets the ball get deep, stays patient, doesn't overswing, and just laces it to right field.
So the Dodgers are the first run, 3 hits here in the 4th inning. Carl Willis out for a visit with Bybee. Then a word from Morongo.
Eddie Griffin, live and unleashed, April 17th. Morongo!
And now a chance for Freeland. The rain is so cinematic. Especially with the slow-mo cam. So Alex Freeland with the confidence growing. Hernandez at third, Pages at first. First one from Bybee. Fastball splits the plate. 0-1. Ohtani waits on deck. First it's the 9-hitter, then it's the pitcher. Freeland waits on it, grounds it to first. Hoskins has it, steps on the bag, and ends the inning. But the Dodgers are finally able to get on the board first as Andy Pages knocks in Will Smith. Discipline that delivers, brought to you by Vanguard. All the facial expressions of Shohei Ohtani tonight. To get in the full Shohei experience, the pitching, the hitting, the faces. And they've gotten him a lead, finally breaking through in the bottom of the 4th. He heads up back out there for the top of the 5th inning with a 1-0 lead. Yeah, he is even about a decade into his major league career, 3rd year in Los Angeles with the Dodgers here, still remains a mysterious character. Watching him compete, though, I think for all of us is the best window into who he is.
Yeah, I think he is a lot more fun-loving than people would imagine. We see that on the field, but his teammates will tell you his personality in the locker room is wonderful.
Brian Rocchio, bottom of the Cleveland lineup coming up here. Ball 1 from Ohtani. Grounded out his first time, right back to Ohtani. Arias and Martinez follow. For him to be somebody who the teammates will say is just one of the guys, even though, of course, he's different, it's not easy. Like, he's got to go out of his way to make that be the case because he's not just one of the guys.
Not everybody's giving $4,000 watches to everybody on the team opening day. But still, you're right. I mean, you could, as a teammate, you could just be in awe of him and like stay out of his arena, his whole aura. But yeah, he's the one that welcomes you in, and they are completely enjoying him and his personality, his work ethic, his abilities on the field. And they're all teammates that get to see it for free, but I think they'd all buy a ticket.
When people ask me, what have you learned being around Shohei, you know, watching him play every day that you couldn't have appreciated when he was on the Angels and you weren't watching him every day. And for me, the biggest thing is what you just said right there, how he strikes a sense of wonder, not just in us, but in the other big leaguers and the other future Hall of Famers around him as he strikes out Rocchio.
Number 13, Gabriel Arias.
You can create that aura by just being good at one half of the game and he's elite at both halves.
First one to Arias, popped out of his hand a bit. Greatest auras that you've been around?
Wow. Well, Sandy Koufax.
Still.
Sandy's amazing. I had a great 20 minutes with him during the ring ceremony because I was down there going to be part of the first pitch ceremony, and Sandy was there with Jane, his wife, and we're watching the guys get their rings, but we're also having a 20-minute conversation. It was just fantastic. And normally it's usually 3 to 5 minutes or a nice phone call when we talk to each other, but yeah, to stand at Dodger Stadium, like third row over there by the dugout, and have a 20-minute conversation with him, that is special.
The batter's challenging the pitch.
Quite a few challenges tonight of Adrian Johnson's strike zone. They've not all been successful, but they've all been powered by T-Mobile.
Calling the strike. Cleveland has no challenges remaining.
Adrian Johnson says you're barking up the wrong tree. Cleveland's out of challenges. Ground ball towards the middle. Mookie Betts is there. Arias is out number 2. Highlight defensive play, Mookie Betts. By the way, that cannot be a challenge that fits into the high leverage plan. You see on Stephen Vogt's face there, like, for strike 2 with the bases empty in the 5th inning for the 8-hitter.
And to lose your challenge in a 1-0 game.
Right.
Yep.
You better be right. You're going to do that, and he wasn't. 1-1 on Martinez. Lined out to short his first time. And it's really starting to come down. Oh, look out. Martinez hit by that fastball. 96. Cleveland's already lost one of its outfielders tonight and Chase DeLauder. He's the right fielder. Now the left fielder, Martinez, on the ground in pain.
Had to strike a very sensitive area of the bone. Yeah, back knee moving forward, ball moving forward at 96. Not a good collision.
Ouch.
That's an area of the knee that it is going to swell up, and you might be able to continue, but you might also run the bases and then find out that the swelling is taking a lot of movement away and you won't be able to continue.
He's going to do his best to walk it off. And he's able to smile. And that's one of the things the Guardians love about this guy. It seems like he always is smiling. Not even a 97-mile-per-hour fastball to the knee can keep that off his face for too long. So he always tries to remind himself of what he felt like playing baseball as a kid back in the Dominican Republic. Steven Kwan drives this ball to deep center field. Pages slows down, makes the catch. Kwan's hit it hard a couple times, but nothing to show for it. Halfway home in a 1-0 game. Shohei Ohtani, 5 scoreless innings, and got to go hit. And this does bring up a conversation that we had with Dave Roberts before the game today about where to hit Ohtani on the days that he pitches. Colby Allard comes on for Cleveland and misses with his first one. And Davis said on the days that he pitches, he's considered at home, moving him down one spot, just flipping him with Kyle Tucker, having him bat second. for the sake of not having to hurry in that one at bat, but that doesn't guarantee you're not going to have to do it. We just saw right here that for the 5th inning, he had to hurry off, get ready to lead off. So you're weighing, not changing the whole lineup, because again, he would just flip those 2, but changing things for the sake of one at bat. For whatever it's worth, as he takes the leadoff walk here, in his 8 home starts last year, in his first inning at bat, 3 for 8 with 2 home runs.
Oh, I wouldn't move him.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I think the negative outcomes probably are deeper in our memories, and when he hits the home run, we're just so excited about something positive. You forget that was because he was the leadoff hitter, and should we change it because he's pitching at home?
Leadoff guy's on for the first time tonight. Second walk for Ohtani, and it brings up Kyle Tucker, who has singled and struck out.
A number of buses, even from the road hotel to the ballpark, to have your own individual schedule.
Yeah, amongst the raindrops, into the glove of Jose Ramirez.
Not to mention the teammates you get to play alongside.
Through 1953, 5 in a row. Mickey Mantle, star of the show. There's a 27-year stretch there where the Yankees won 16 World Series.
Yeah, there wasn't free agency.
Mookie trying to become the first guy since those Yankees teams a couple decades ago to win 5 rings. Flies this ball into center field. Kwan the call and the catch. 2 out.
They could have just had NIL money back then and maybe balance the scales a little bit.
Right. Like a wet bar of soap. Hello. Snow cone. Kwan a 4 field. Freeman flies it to right. C.J. Kafis makes the grab and ends the 5th.
Hoodie. Visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Giveaways just keep on coming. The Yoshi bobblehead tonight. New Mario movie coming out tomorrow. Hence the timing. 5 scoreless innings for Shohei Ohtani in his season debut on the mound.
Well, Yoshinobu Yamamoto's goal is to win a Cy Young. Shohei Ohtani's goal is to win a Cy Young. Blake Snell, when healthy, will have that as a goal. These starters have done very well so far. Other than Sheehan, who gave up 4 earnings and 3 1/3, the rest of the starters have an ERA just barely over 2. So what a rotation to come up against if you're an opposing team.
Well, Doc did say that today when talking about the Cy Young conversation with Ohtani. Yeah, he could be in it if he makes solid starts, but he's going to have competition on his own team. Yamamoto going forward, and Dave Roberts a couple times has brought up Tyler Glasnow. Feels like he really has put it all together, and again with him it always is, can he make all the starts like we're talking about with Ohtani? Tyler Glasnow puts together a full season of starts. There's no way he's not in the conversation with how good his stuff is.
You are so right.
2, 3, and 4 here. Kafis swings and misses. Devilish.
Well, not only has he been effective, but he has been efficient coming into this inning. 74 pitches, only 2 3-ball counts.
Man, oh man, strikes him out with a splitter. 5th one for Ohtani.
Strikeouts will increase your pitch count because it takes at least 3 pitches to do it, right? And he's been efficient to get some routine outs, some soft contact, but mixing in just enough Ks.
The splitter's been Sharper than I recall it being last year. Just really making a turn tighter and diving sharply.
Yep. The sharper it is, the more it looks like a fastball out of your hand, and you're going to get more swings and misses.
Jose Ramirez in a 1-0 game. Gets under it, flies it to left center field. Hernandez, no big deal for him. 2 out.
Doesn't seem like anything in the air is routine tonight, with the raindrops coming down, kind of sprinkling on their face as the bill of their cap cannot protect them. A little bit of wind at different levels of the stadium also. Not everybody really taking exact routes tonight.
Two up, 2 down. Manzardo. Ohtani with the slow build-up, the methodical build-up last year. 1 inning to 2 inning to 3 inning to 4 inning. He didn't complete 6 until his last start of the regular season. Frustration right there. Haven't seen a whole lot of that from him tonight. Seen just about every other emotion.
I talked about earlier in the game about how bullets and the caliber of bullets change throughout your rehab, and then when you're back in full strength. They change within a game also. You know, there's just different levels of strength. The adrenaline hits you, the situations. You come out for 1 inning and it's easy to get loose. You come out another inning and maybe something's starting to tighten up a little bit. And that can then affect your command. That's the first thing to go. Your velocity doesn't tear down as much as your command changes.
So that's going to do it for Ohtani. 5 2/3 scoreless innings. Well, if the goal is a Cy Young, it's a good first step in that direction.
He was slipping a little bit, and he was getting some mud in his cleats, and they want a little bit of the drying agent and the rake. And
so maybe this isn't a change.
Yeah, I think Dave was coming out with concern for his pitcher, and Ohtani might not ask for the help, but Dave said, I'll step in and make sure he gets it.
And don't ever confuse Ohtani offering him the ball right there for anything other than just complete respect and deference. Seeing him come out there, Dave never comes out and doesn't come out with the intent of taking the ball, but this is different here. And it would have been odd looking at this spot of the order. Yeah, Hoskins has a hit against him, but to bring Vesia on for the right-handed batting Hoskins, who just crushes lefties, is going to be a bit surprising.
This is the last pitch as he comes down the hill. A little bit of slip there on his front foot. The heel kind of twisted out on him. And now he's going to get the implement to clean the spikes a little bit. Just don't slip with that. I always worried about cleaning my spikes and slipping, and then you slip right into one of your metal spikes and can cut your hand.
Oh.
You just got to be very careful if all of a sudden you need to use some strength to get through some of the caked mud, that you don't slip through it.
Yeah, this, the 4-pitch walk right there to Manzardo is dialed in as he's been all night. It was like, wait a minute, what? That helps explain it if he's starting to lose his footing. Brandon there with the assist.
Yeah, so when you stepping on the grass that's been rained on, that's the moisture. You get a ton of moisture on the bottom of your spikes, and then you walk onto the mound and it immediately starts to cake. And so you almost want to be cleaning your spikes on the mound and stay off the grass, because you can keep the dirt from piling up a lot quicker. Not that I thought about this stuff at all.
No, you didn't think about nothing. All right, so that high-tech spike cleaner. Ohtani's back on the mound here with 2 outs in the 6th inning. Still just a 1-0 game. The Dodgers getting a run and a base hit from Andy Pages in the 4th. Guardians have just 1 hit in this ball game. Ohtani's walked 3.
He's still not happy with it. He's didn't slip on there, but he's not getting the same grip that he's used to. He ended up pulling it. When that front leg is not stable, you're just giving him the 1 pitch. When you're not stable on the front leg, you're like shooting a bullet down a chamber of a gun, and the gun is rattling as the bullet goes down.
Manzardo's the runner at first. Hoskins at the plate has their only hit. It was a double back in the 4th.
Subconsciously now you're kind of feeling for the ground as you go down into your pitch. You got to really kind of just mentally block it out. Good pitches are about 1 heartbeat after foot strike out front, and that brings your body weight down into your front leg. It stabilizes you, and then your whole lever system can work accurately to home plate. Start to throw it before the front foot hits, it's going to be unstable and inaccurate.
Down the right field line, Tucker's over. Out of room, and it's 1-2. I would imagine when 1 heartbeat becomes 2 heartbeats, it feels like an hour off.
Oh yeah, I mean, your brain is moving and firing at a certain level, and you know, with nerves and adrenaline, and it's your first game, your first start. Yep. So many things that can be slightly off. A lot of practice, a lot of discipline, a lot of believing in yourself. More is not always better.
Ohtani trying to finish off 6 scoreless. His 1-2 to Hoskins is swung on and miss. 6 Ks over 6 scoreless innings in his season debut. The 9th pitch to Will Smith is taken for strike 3. Ooh, challenge. Or did he say it was too late? I think Adrian Johnson said the request for the challenge came too late.
Glad it was too late. It was a strike, just barely.
You could tell his heart wasn't totally in that challenge. Took a bit of a hesitation right there. So Allard strikes out Smith, ending that long battle, and Max Muncy comes up and pops the first pitch out of play. Well, Ohtani not the only guy with a sparkling season debut tonight. Andrew Painter of the Philadelphia Phillies, their top pitching prospect for years, stunted by injuries, debuts 5 years after he was a first-round pick, strikes out 8 in 5 1/3, and gives up just 1 run and gets the win. Max Scherzer, 6 innings, 1 run for the Blue Jays.
The ageless one.
High drive, right field, how far? Max Muncy with his first home run of the year. His first of the year, his 210th in Dodger blue.
Most left-handed hitters are good low ball hitters. Left on left situation, slightly above the knees, kind of center cut, and Max did not miss it.
3 home runs all last year against a left-handed pitcher, and his first one this year coming against the southpaw. Some nice insurance right there. 2-0. Dodgers lead in the 6th. One and 2 on Teoscar Hernandez. So 210 for Muncy. That puts him one shy of Steve Garvey for 3rd on the Dodger list. LA Dodger list, that is. 18 behind Ron Say for 2nd. 60 behind Eric Karros.
You've got to take advantage of every situation you can, but you got to have some action on the bases. And now you see some of the at-bats are tough.
Freeland was 0 for 2 tonight. Rips one high and deep to left. Angel Martinez in the corner, goes up into the crowd. It was in foul territory and almost made a spectacular play, but it goes for a foul ball. Look at that guy in the front row. He got it. And once Angel leaves the field of play, he's fair game. There's no fan interference once he goes into the crowd.
Yeah, he caught the ball before he could get over there and get a glove underneath it.
Now, if that guy leans out into the field of play, it's different. But once he goes in there.
Yeah, you're right. He was in. It wasn't on the field of play. You're right. He ended up making the catch, but that ball hooked a long way. It did not look like it was going to go into the seats.
He hit it so high, too. But it was hugging the line. Now he goes the other way, out of play. 1 and 2. How about this stat? Miguel Rojas holds the distinction of being the last Marlin to homer in postseason play. That was back in Game 1 of the 2020 Division Series. It was against the Braves, and his home run was against Max Fried.
Wow. 6 years ago.
Cardboard cutouts were the only ones in attendance that night.
Yeah. That's why nobody remembers.
Don't remind me.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Good pitching by Colby Allard. 1 down.
Well, you can enjoy unlimited ballpark classics at your next Guardians game with the new Bottomless Bites. Upper deck tickets include endless hot dogs, chips, popcorn, peanuts, and fountain sodas, while select lower level tickets include access to full menus served at the Discount Drug Mart Club Lounge. CLEGuardians.com. Andre, I'm sure you're going to
saving up for that.
Yes, indeed.
In the whole base hit, Shohei Ohtani, after back-to-back walks, as his first hit of the night, second hit in the series. Colby Allard had struck out 3 in a row prior to that hit by Ohtani. Remember, earlier, Tanner Bybee had struck out 3 in a row and then gave up a single, and 3 batters later, the Dodgers had scored the first run of the game. Allard trying to avoid a similar fate, but he's got the big boys to deal with now. Kyle Tucker, 1 for 3. And it's a pitch on the outside corner for a strike.
Yeah, but he's doing a pretty good job of holding it right there coming out of that bullpen after Bybee went 4 innings.
Could be the last hitter for Allard. Matt Festa up in the Guardians bullpen. The right-handed hitting Mookie Betts on deck. And that is sliced the other way into foul ground. Jose
It's off the screen anyway. He wouldn't have been able to get to it. There is Festa firing, and he'll be ready quickly. He may already be.
Yeah, he looks
hot.
like he's.
Yeah. Tucker trying to shoot it the other way.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to stay on the ball and take him the other way is right, but he's.
Kyle Tucker, the Braves hitter, had an older brother who was 6 years older, his brother Preston. And he says that he became a good left-handed hitter because his brother, who was older, would just fire wiffle balls at him in the backyard. And he said a wiffle ball moves a lot. As he went wailing away, and that looked like a wiffle ball.
I was going to say,
empty.
that one moved a lot, too.
So 5 strikeouts now for Colby Allard. In fact, the last 5 outs he has recorded have all been via the strikeout.
Yeah, he's done a nice job coming in. He gave up that solo home run to Muncy, but other than that, it's another single. He's been fine tonight. Still intact. It's a 2-0 game.
Mookie Betts, the batter, 0 for 3, facing Matt Festa. Festa, just his second appearance. But a guy that figures to get a lot of work out of that bullpen. Festa, you know, Rick, it's interesting when you think about last year's bullpen. Festa and Allard were guys that came in after the fact. They were acquired, picked up, and fit right in, and both pitched key roles in a variety of different scenarios.
Yeah, a manager loves it when you can count on guys. You know, when you have to bring them in, you may not use them all the time, but when they do come in, they get it done.
There goes the runner. Ohtani took off, but it's a moot point as Betts strikes out to end the inning. 7 in the books. Dodgers 2, Guardians 0. Kwan inching off at first. And a pop-up on the infield. Right in front of the mound. Betts comes racing in. The shortstop has it. Guardians' offensive frustrations continue to mount. Middle of the 8th, 2-0 LA. And it was a no-doubter. He smoked it.
Oh, yes, he did. Himself a 90-mile-an-hour heater in the middle third of that plate inside and gave it a ride.
That's a ball to center field. And Freeman's going to try to go to third. Kwan's throw is offline. And now down to second goes Muncy. I think Kwan had the right idea because Freeman's not fleet of foot, but the throw just wasn't on target.
But you got to realize with that ball getting in the grass, it's wet and it's a tough grip. You know what I mean? And it's tough to be accurate the way it's been going. There's a little spinner right there. I don't know if that was a cutter, but he hit it hard. Now watch where Kwan is. He's going to come up, and that ball's on the ground, so that ball's going to be wet by the time he picks it up. And I know what he wanted to do. It's just a little bit offline. He had the right idea, but you know, the grip of the baseball probably wasn't all that good.
Guardians will bring the infield in.
Yeah, now you got to try and cut off everything.
base hit. 1 run will score. Muncy stops at third. 3-0 LA. Second time tonight they've had 3 hits in an inning to plate a run.
There's a pitch hit hard, and you had a good jump at second, but they're going to hold him up as he gets it in. 1 run at a time. Freeman scores. It's a 3-0 ball game, and now they have first and third. Still 1 out. Carl Willis is going to come out and have a little conversation. You have the double play alive, but Pages is coming up. He has a hit tonight, drove in the first run, and he's been staying on the baseball. See if he tries to have that same approach to add on.
Andy Pages with runners at the corners. He is 1 for 3 with an RBI single tonight.
Yeah, he looks good in the box. What we've seen from yesterday and today. He took that breaking ball the other way with 2 outs, man, to drive in the run. Just a good piece of hitting right there to get on the board.
Spins him out of the way. It missed for a ball, 2-1.
He's looking for that ground ball to see if they can turn 2 and get out of the inning.
Base hit left field. Another run is in.
Yeah, he looks pretty good at the dish.
Muncy scores, and it's 4-0 Dodgers.
3 straight singles, 4 hits in the inning.
In the 9th inning last night.
Oh,
did that hit him?
Yes, sure did.
If not, it was ball 4. So I think it was just ball 4. I think he got out of the way, but that was.
He did a good job of dancing.
So the leadoff man is aboard for Cleveland.
Let's see.
What's this thing? Oh, it looked like it hit him. It got him in the foot.
Absolutely. That deflected.
Hey, don't be afraid to make a signal.
They don't want to tell us. Yeah, there it is. Caught him in the front foot.
And almost hit Hoskins with a pitch in off the plate. Dodgers lead at 4-0. They've out-hit Cleveland 10-1 on the night. Only hit for Cleveland came on Rhys Hoskins' 2-out double in the 4th inning.
Yeah, a little double down the left field line.
Dodgers only had 4 hits through the first 5 innings. They got a solo homer in the 6th, but then 4 hits in the 8th. It gave them the 2 bonus runs. Rhys Hoskins wants the challenge. They don't have one. He's like, oh, I forgot we're out of challenges. And the 2-2. Ooh, to the backstop. That almost. That went over his head. So down to second base is Manzardo on the wild pitch.
Oh man, that ball had to get away from him right there because 95 over his head.
It's one thing when a breaking ball kind of spins out of your hand.
Yeah.
But when it's 95. Yeah, you're right. You don't have time to get out of the way. Ball 4. How about that? Well, so he hits the first guy, walks the second. And now the Guardians have a little bit of life. Bo Naylor coming to the plate, and this is the manager, Dave Roberts.
I'm sure just to have a little talk. He went from that walk to a little jog, and let's go.
Well, here we go again with the mound.
Yeah, the mound. But Arch also, you guys saw in that last pitch, the first thing he did was look at his hand, like his hand was wet. So the mound is definitely.
Yeah, but it's the same for both teams, right?
100%. 100%.
Let's hope that they don't turn this into a, well, let's do everything we can to help the Dodgers.
Well, think about it. The last time they fixed the mound, did nothing to the batter's box. Then they waited in between innings to fix that.
Yeah.
Which I didn't think was fair or right.
Well, he just tried to slow everything down and give him a second. It looks like there's a little sheen.
Yeah, I was just going to say, for the first time tonight, the amount of saturation has taken its toll on the fielding surface. It's a little slick out there.
Yes, it is. Look at that.
Right.
I mean, you can see it now. The camera really shows
it here.
Think
about the ball already skips through the infield. If you hit one. Oh, good cut.
Oh, had a pass at it, but he fouls it back. And to Rick's point, there have been a few of these tonight that Guardians hitters have just
you got a
missed.
fastball right down the middle, but you foul it off. They can't put it in play. Well, you get a little base hit here, man, and then you get that little energy in the dugout.
Very close, but low, 1-2.
Let's take a look. Oh, yeah, it was low.
Jose Ramirez made the last out of the 8th inning. Now Bo Naylor, the high fly ball to right field. Tucker backing up. And just shy of the warning track makes the catch for the first out of the inning. Manzardo tags and moves to third. So they're at the corners with 1 out. Brian Rocchio to the plate.
Second baseman, number 4, Brian Rocchio.
Daniel Schneemann has made his way to the on-deck circle. Last left-handed bat on the bench for Cleveland. Up high. And Edwin Diaz tosses out a baseball, asks for another. Check. He went, says home plate umpire Adrian Johnson. And it's that 1-2 on Rocchio. I don't think that was a good call. And Rocchio yanks it foul. Hit batter and a walk. Opening the door just a little bit for Cleveland. But still only 1 hit on the night. As Rick said, you get 1 hit here, though, and boy, the energy could shift in a hurry.
It sure can, and then you get that tying run to the plate. Like
There's a base hit into right field for Rocchio. That gets Manzardo home. And now the tying run will come to the plate in the form of Daniel Schneemann.
Yeah, now you get that dugout going a little bit. They're starting to say, okay, let's go, boys. There it is, a knock. We're on the board. Schneemann had a couple of ribbies last night.
Cleveland, number 10, Daniel Schneemann.
Will Smith will go to the mound for a conversation as the rain continues to fall.
You know, last night Daniel Schneemann maybe had the at-bat of the night that wasn't discussed a lot because of other things that went on in the game. But I talked to him after, Arch, about driving the ball to left center. He said that's been his key in the offseason. It wasn't about power. He says he knows he's on the ball right now because he's been hitting the ball well the last week and a half.
Yeah.
It's a left center. So let's see if he can square one up and kind of do that again.
He did it in Seattle, too.
Yes, he did.
So, I mean, the approach is there.
Fastball up and away, and now Will Smith will challenge. So we've got an ABS challenge powered by T-Mobile.
That was his knock last night.
Oh, my goodness. It literally, I mean, it's, wow. The Guardians, I don't know if their challenge have been abysmal.
But you can't do anything with that pitch, so move on, right?
No, it's just unbelievable. And now it's 0-2.
That wasn't even in the red. That was a pink. That was a light red. A seam might have caught it.
Barely.
It's okay. You got your work cut out for you now. Just hang in there, foul off the tough pitches, and stay alive.
Two down.
Upstairs, that heater, and that's out of the zone, but he got him to chase it. He gets the second out, and that'll leave it up to Angel. See if he can keep it rolling.
0 for 2 hit by a pitch back in the 5th inning. Out of play left side, and the Guardians are down to their last strike. Fastball misses off the outside part of the plate, so Angel with another opportunity. He is the tying run at the plate. Back to the screen. Stephen Kwan would be next if Angel keeps it alive. Dodgers have action in the bullpen. Edwin Diaz, much like Cade Smith last night, not a safe situation, and look where his pitch count is.
Yeah, he's up over the 30 mark.
He went too far, and the game is over. Adrian Johnson rings him up without asking for help. So the Guardians played a run here in the ninth, but they leave 2 on. And the series is even at a game apiece as the Dodgers win it by a final score of 4-1. Dodgers go to 4-1 on the year. Cleveland is now 3-3. The rubber match tomorrow. It'll be a 8 o'clock Eastern start here in Southern California as the Guardians will wrap up their first road trip of the season and head home for Friday's home opener against the Chicago Cubs. But tonight, just not enough offense. They managed 1 hit until the 9th. And that second hit plated their only run of the game. Shohei Ohtani was very good, 6 innings. 1 hit, walked 3, struck out 6, and the bullpen did their job. 4-1 the final. We're back with Guardians postgame. Andre Knott will join us shortly, and we'll recap the ballgame, get you set up for the series finale coming up next.